Yo, welcome to the Joe Zone, and today I'm sitting with Wade Kerspuy. Wade is a professional MMA athlete. He fights for the EFC, and he's also a physiotherapist. How's it going, Wade?
It's good, all good, man. How you doing?
I'm alright. You fought recently on the 14th of April, and you won via armbar submission.
Right, yeah.
We took a photo of you. My cameraman took a photo of you. We were like,
Awesome.
had us inverted, and like before that, the fight before that you had was also in Cape Town.
Oh no. The fight before that, I fought Chichamba in Sun City.
Okay.
That was my first taste of elbow to the jaw. Got
Is it-
knocked out. It's lovely.
Oh, you got knocked out in that fight.
I got knocked out.
And then when did you fight before?
Before that was early in the year, I think in March. I fought
Cape Town.
Commission Cape Town. That's right.
So that's also my point is that I know I've seen you fight twice before.
Yeah.
So okay, the fight, I missed the fight in Joburg where you got knocked out.
I'm glad.
Tough luck, man. So what is your record now in the UFC?
I'm 2-2.
2-2.
Yeah.
Okay. Who else did you lose? Your first
my
fight?
very first fight, Guy Mugambe. We went 3, and then I got TK'd in with 23 seconds left on the clock. I don't think they should have stopped it.
Sure.
I mean, I went down. I was waiting for the grappling to start, but hey, that's the fight game.
That's the fight game, man. Yeah. So how did you get into MMA, or what got you interested, or how did it all start?
I walked past a gym. This is in Joburg. Worked in Joburg. Just wanted to learn a new skill. I started with jiu-jitsu.
Yeah. At that time, were you a physiotherapist?
I was a physiotherapist.
Okay.
So I went up to Joburg for physio to work there. And I walked past the gym, saw these guys rolling around on the ground, and I thought, what's this all about? I went in, took a free class, free class, and I fell in love with jiu-jitsu.
Okay.
And that was it.
Were you lifting weights or doing any physical something physical before that?
Look, I used to play volleyball for South Africa.
Okay. Whoa. For South Africa.
I used to play volleyball.
You told me you play with volleyball, but not for South Africa.
Yeah.
Okay, that's an
I
achievement.
used to play volleyball for South Africa, and obviously with work things had to slow down on that front, and there was just like that competitive kind of feeling was a little missing.
Yeah.
After that aspect calmed down, and I was looking for something just to apply my skills again, get practical and compete in something.
Sure.
And I found jiu-jitsu, and it just made sense.
Okay. So that was in Joburg.
That was in Joburg.
At what gym was that?
That was Tap Out Academy in Joburg. I was
Okay.
my first coach was Vikas Swart. I was very lucky to walk into a gym with a guy with his knowledge and skills, and
That's awesome.
I think I learned the basics from a very good professor.
I can tell you that's very true.
And then I started my stand up with Gert Strydom, who's also a very well known boxing coach up he's trained.
So you had very, very good.
I had a good
stuff.
foundation
Yeah.
to start off with, and I think that's key for a lot of people to if your foundation is set and you're open minded about things, it's a good combination. Yeah.
Awesome, man. So from that point, did they arrange you like a MMA fight?
No,
Or was you doing it just for training?
Look, I was just happy to go and train and learn. I think I started training jiu-jitsu in April of 2014. I graded to a blue belt. Look, when I get into something, I'm obsessed.
Okay.
So I want to be the best at doing something. So I'm talking about five nights I was on the mat learning, throwing myself in the deep end in advanced class, getting choked out and armbarred by everyone. Always the smallest guy. So, but I stuck at it. Went from there, did it I think in 2015, Vika said, you're at a level where you could try to compete. And that's what I did, and I started winning.
So did you compete in jiu-jitsu?
I just competed in grappling competitions. So jiu-jitsu competitions and grappling competitions. Started competing, started winning a couple of competitions, and that's when Gert Strydom approached me and told me, listen, if I teach you a little bit of boxing to keep you safe on the feet, you can actually win MMA fights with your jiu-jitsu. And you know, like being a little silly, I would say. I was like, oh, this sounds like a great idea. And then I started training for MMA, or at least the stand-up part, towards the end of 2015. And
so you had already been doing MMA jiu-jitsu for quite a while, but
I would say like about a year and 2 months and then I started with stand-up classes, which was mainly boxing at the time, and then I had my first fight in I think July 2016. Yeah, at Fight Star. So Fight Star.
So 2 years after you started training, you had
2 years. I started like
you trained for a year jits, you trained for a year stand up, and then
I, you know, the nice thing about at the time they don't allow anyone just to train and compete. You know, first thing it was always you need to protect, or their philosophy was you need to protect your fighter.
Yeah.
So you're not going to put him into a situation he can't handle.
Yes.
So I had to kind of be at a level before they trusted me to go in there and defend myself, I would say.
Sure, that's quite responsible of them.
Man,
like
definitely
they waited for you to be at
a level, you know, to compete. I'd say that.
Do they restrict if they feel somebody's not on that level? Will they say, listen here, you can't fight?
Exactly. That's how it was.
Okay. So only a certain...
Yeah, you know, like... I also think it reflects on the gym. So if I wasn't ready to fight and, you know, I'm going to fight a guy that's been training for a while, I'm going to get a loss. And the banner I represent is their gym.
Yes.
So the last thing they want, I would think any gym would want to see is someone being very sloppy and coming from a gym. So to the outside world is... that guy's from that gym, so that's probably how they train their fighters.
Yeah.
So, you know, just...
Yeah. So obviously if you want to be a successful fighter, you'll sort of steer clear of those
exactly, you know, like,
gyms.
that's not how I want to be represented, you know. So I think there was a level to most of the guys that came out of the gym. You know, a lot, yeah.
So how many amateur fights did you have before?
So I had 7, which was a roller coaster. Because to put it this way, my first amateur fight was in 2016 July. I went pro 2017 November. So I had 7 fights in that time.
In how many months?
So I fought 3 times in 2000, 3 times in 2016, and the rest 4 in so it was quite a busy. I mean, if you know fighting, and look, I was an amateur, but I prepped like a pro, so I had my 8 week, 6 week training camp, 10 week training camp at times.
3 years is quite. It's doable because if you do in the beginning, the middle, and the end, but 4 is like.
And also
actually, there's 5 because
I started.
Wasn't it the 5th? Did you have the 5th fight in November? Was the 5th fight the professional fight?
No. My 6th fight was my professional fight.
Oh, okay.
So it was a busy year for me.
Okay. Yeah, man. And then your first professional fight was obviously in the EFC?
In the EFC, yeah, against Sky Mugambe.
Yeah.
Really tough opponent.
Yeah.
I think I struck him with a couple of blows that I would have thought other guys that I fought before would have gone down with, and he just kept on coming. And, you know, that's when I realized, like, this is different.
This is the pros. Welcome to the pros.
Are a little different, you know, but I think I represented myself well. I think I was a little silly. Most of the fight took place on the feet, and I'm a ground specialist. I shouldn't say specialist, but Did you have the opportunity to take him down? We did go to the ground a couple of times.
And you went back up?
Yeah, like he either got up, or when I got taken down once, I think he threw me. I got back up as well because he's a big boy. I don't want to be underneath that. But yeah, it was an eye opener for me. Like, you know, things like just my approach would have to change a little.
Yeah.
And I think I got that right.
Yeah. It's always weird for a fighter because a fighter is there to fight.
Exactly.
So for you to say I have to be calculated and listen, I'm not ready here in the stand-up approach. Let me go for the.
Exactly.
Let me approach this problem with a different route. You have to be very sort of mature.
Exactly.
In that sense.
Very true. We don't get paid overtime to be in that cage, right? So,
yeah.
You want to end the fight. You want to go home with as little damage as possible.
Yes.
I don't think I had the maturity in my first fight.
Yes.
Dragged out for 3 rounds, and what I should have done was just shoot for the takedown every opportunity I got, which I didn't. I stood with a striker, and I'm not a striker. If anyone, or at least at that time, I wasn't a striker.
To his
Exactly.
strengths was maybe a little bit more.
I think I was his 4th fight in the EFC, and it was my first fight in the EFC. So, he had that Hex experience.
Yeah.
I didn't. But like I said, I think on that night I represented myself. I feel I represented myself well.
That's good.
I mean, I lost and I still got a performance bonus. So
nice, man.
That should have at least gave me a little bit of hope of okay, maybe I do belong here.
So even after your first fight, you knew you were gonna, after your first loss as your first fight, you knew you were gonna get back in there.
Oh yeah, man.
How did you after that loss? How did you take the loss and how did you get back in there stronger?
It hurts, man. Any loss, if no one goes in there to lose. So I also don't do it for the money. I don't need to, I do it because I love the sport, So I just want to compete. I want to test my skills. So if I'm there and I'm failing, then it hurts. So straight after that, it was like, okay, this is what I did wrong. This is what I need to be better at and play to my strengths, which is my jiu-jitsu or my grappling, my wrestling. And, from there, I just needed some time to reflect and then get straight back into training for whoever came next.
And then, who was your next fight then?
Isham Commission, that was a totally different fight. Also a very good stand-up fighter, good boxing,
Where was that, in Cape Town?
That was in Cape Town.
Next fight, because I remember this next fight.
Yeah, so that was in Cape Town. And
it was quite exciting if I can recall.
Yeah, so I think I don't know if someone can get matured over a couple of months, in that period, but from November to March. But I mean,
you can if you lose in front of 50,000, I don't know how many thousand, there's people watching on TV. I think somebody can get mature real quick.
Truly, and you see some of the comments that people the guys and I've learned not to read into those things because I don't play a lot into the social media game anymore. I do it to kind of just promote my gym or my sponsors and things like that. But they were saying oh, this guy really doesn't deserve to be here, and what's this guy, so that's which is, it's negative, but it's you have something to prove, not to those guys, but to yourself, that you actually deserve to be here, and I think that maturity level showed in that fight. I mean, he's a high level striker. Ironically, he was trained at the time by my coaches, Matt and Don.
Yeah.
But my game plan was play to my strengths, and I think within the first 3 seconds the fight was on the ground.
Yeah. At that time, who would you
I
training
was with
for?
SVG with Coach Steve Bazier.
Oh, okay.
So
yeah.
I made the change there to train with SVG. So I'm training with SVG, Chichamba. It was a silly move from me. So he was originally supposed to fight Junior Karimbo.
Yeah.
And he got injured a week and a half to their fight. Got a call from Graham. Said, I see you've been training. You don't have to cut weight. We'll do this at bantamweight. You want to take the fight. And, again, a little bit of immaturity, but I've grown from there.
Okay, so shouldn't your managers or your coaches have told you like hold that?
Look,
Shouldn't that decision be more on them to say that rather than you at that early stage in your career?
Look, it was always a team decision, and at that stage, I feel that we were training, so it might not have been at camp, but I was training. We were at a good level. My fitness was up. I was still, doing my strength and conditioning, so we never really stopped because we were kind of waiting for a call anyway. But yeah, man, like it might just be a 4-kilogram difference, but they big boys in bantam, or at least for me, they were big boys. And I think the negative side was I didn't get time to prep for altitude. I have my own little way of prepping for altitude, and I think that got me. Hands down, he knocked me out. He was the better guy on the night, but I could have represented myself a little better if I had trained or prepped for that altitude difference as well, because I feel that I dominated the first round. I couldn't land the rear naked choke. I had his back for most of the first round, and second round when I got off that chair, the chest was burning. I didn't understand. I didn't have my breath back. My legs felt like lead, and should have changed the game plan and try to dance a little and stay on my feet, but like that was not my game plan. My game plan was to get the fight down and get the choke, and I think I gassed obviously and dropped my hands at the wrong time and got knocked out.
It's hectic that you gave me a play-by-play like that, because man. I mean it's interesting that you gave me a play-by-play. I haven't my audience doesn't know what it's like to like get up off a chair and your chest is burning, like you just explained.
Like, look, ideally that
and the guy
really
is about
happens.
to.
Exactly.
No, but I'm just saying.
Yeah, but that was just.
That's how you felt.
That's how I felt at that time with altitude, and
Sure.
So not taking short notice fights ever again. I know it's a cool thing. Everyone's like, he saved the
Cowboy Cerrone,
but it's when I go in there, I want to be the best version of myself, and I feel that. I'm not a cowboy, so I'm never going to be able to take a 24-hour, 7-day notice kind of fights. If you want the best weight in the hex, then I need a full camp.
I like that about how you explain things like about yourself. You are a structured person, and there's a certain way that you'd like to get ready for a fight. That's good. Like it's maybe a better, wiser, your career's gonna maybe be a bit longer.
Exactly.
So yeah, that's a good way. So after that fight, you lost another fight. So obviously now things is.
So
was it easier or worse than before?
Now I had to prove myself. I just got knocked out. I lost my second fight, and then. Through my amateur career, my first kind of two fights, no one's seen me go limp and knock the canvas, So I had my family, my wife was all like, "Oh my word, we can't have that happen again." I mean, they were in tears. Yeah, they were in tears. So it's hard for you to come back and say, "Look, I'm okay, but I'm gonna go train again because I want to get back in there," So it's that.
To them, that is like
exactly. No one wants to see you get hurt. So no one wants to see anyone get hurt. Although this is we in the hurt business. Everyone lay it all out there, but like minor niggles, injuries, but nothing serious. And so that just got me fired up. Really.
Did you was there any at any point was there a stage where you were like, nah, maybe I must listen to them or something like that? Or I'm getting back in there?
No, I was look, there's a lot. There's a lot that goes through your head. You're like, I failed again. I lost. Is this the right thing to put my family through? This. And it's always an option. Like getting knocked out, I promise you, my next fight, it was like, you fear the knockout, that's like I'm not gonna be here and be a badass. It's like you fear the knockout. All you think about is like, I'm not getting knocked out again. You know, in front of. And this time the next fight was in Cape Town, so it's like no way I'm getting, you know, with him in the arena. But yeah, man, that's why you have a good support system, and that's why you have top quality coaches to kind of prepare you so that things like that don't happen again. And it's the fight game. I keep telling them anything can happen. It's like told one of my best friends. I told him, like, listen here, Zulu's gonna destroy Jake Hadley. You know.
Oh no!
And at the end of the day, it was like, you know, on any other occasion that would have happened, but on that night,
I don't know. Why do you feel that Zulu would destroy Jake Hadley?
Just his presence and who he's been through and who he's faced.
But Hadley is... people didn't do their research on Hadley.
Exactly.
That's the thing. I didn't want to say it at the time, but I had like this funny feeling that Hadley would... Just how many amateur fights the dude had. The dude had... Sure. You know how much amateur...
Exactly.
It's crazy amount. And it's not a knock on Zulu. It's what we have in South Africa. We don't have a massive amateur promotions and stuff like that. Yeah. So it's rare that you're gonna fight as much amateur as in the UK as here in South Africa. So you get to experience sort of on the professional cards. So yeah, I just felt that maybe had it been through a lot more than
very true, but I just like, you know, my opinion on that was like, I knew he was, I don't know if he's a purple or brown in jiu-jitsu, and Jake.
He's dangerous. Didn't you see how he was sucking his body
so,
like
so,
that?
So the whole thing was like, but then mine was, you know, Zulu had the opportunity to train with Henry Cejudo when he was over at the Ultimate Fighter.
Yeah.
So he stayed over there for a bit. So
he was in the UFC for...
You
like,
get what I'm
not
saying?
Not in the UFC,
but
like...
training with these kind of quality guys. And that's kind of how I made my decision with. But I mean, then again, like we were talking about structure and game plan. And like... Zulu's a dangerous man on the feet, so you take that away from him, and that's exactly what Jake did.
Yeah. Perfect game plan, eh?
Exactly, yeah.
So let's talk about your fourth fight.
José Octavio, very.
That's a fight that myself and the cameraman, we went ballistic for it. We couldn't believe it. Like, I'm like, yeah, did you see the guy ripped his arm off? That's awesome, man. Get it inverted like that. That is a bit dangerous also. Did you see what happened to Rose Namajunas?
But the difference, I think, she was holding on, you know? Like, I felt the momentum turn. I wasn't being lifted up more so than kicking and inverting it myself. Look, he obviously wanted to rip his arm up and then lifted me in the process. Yeah. But, you know, with the technique, you kick down and you invert the... Oh, yeah.
Okay, I don't know much about this. I'm gonna learn jiu-jitsu.
Man.
Okay, so you at Madford now?
I'm at Madford with Coach Matthew, Dominic Ferreira, Don Madge.
Yeah. He's got some good training partners.
Yeah, man. And if you know Coach Matt, he's got some killer boxes there as well. So we get thrown in with them as well. Okay. Aiden Quinn's actually fighting later on. So
is it?
Yeah. Okay. Professional Golden Gloves. So
where is he fighting?
Empress Palace, Joburg.
Will they put it on
That's gonna be on TV, man.
Is it?
Yeah, Super Sport 213.
Okay, I'll check it out. I like boxing. What do you think of Andy Ruiz and Andy Joshua? Andy Joshua.
Anthony Joshua.
Anthony Joshua and
big upset.
Andy Ruiz.
Big upset, but if you know Ruiz, he trains with Oscar Valdez. I mean, he's a world champion, WBO, WBC. So if you know the camps the guys come from,
again, another person with a deep amateur ranking, like amateur record, like always those guys. Look out for those guys. Like they may not be like on the top of the card and stuff like that, but they got a lot of amateur. Fights behind them, and they're dangerous because they've seen a lot. Exactly. They've seen a lot of different types of fights. They might not be able to be the best, but if they've seen a lot, they can be dangerous.
Exactly.
Yeah, man. So What else did we cover? Do you know when you're gonna fight next?
I'm hoping in September, either the 7th of September or the 28th. It was scheduled for Cape Town, so I was going to do the next Cape Town card again.
But they're not gonna have it yet.
Did
Did you see who got that scoop? I asked Graham on the live.
Right.
I asked him in the live feed, Graham, is there gonna be a Cape Town? And he was like, well, Ryan, no, there's not gonna be a Cape Town. So apparently, because of financial reasons, like they can't bring. Somehow it's expensive for them to bring the EFC down here to Cape Town, and he was mentioning something about us getting sponsorship. I don't know, maybe I must get onto that, become a promoter or something like that. But yeah, it's unfortunate, and Wade, has been awesome having you here today, man, and we had a lot of laughs behind the scenes and stuff like that, and it's also given me a awesome insight into your personality. For me, like, it's a weird thing when I get to meet and chat to the MMA guys, because once I get to know your personality, I know you a little bit more than just seeing you on a screen. So it's almost like I root for you a bit more. But thank you for coming on the show. Thank you for showing us
having me, man.
That beautiful bit of art that you did, and I hope you keep doing awesome stuff. And if there's any. If you want to come back on, you're welcome to come back on.
Thank you for having me, man.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Give us your handles. I know you're not on Twitter, WhatsApp, or any stuff like that.
I'm on Instagram. So it's Wade _ El Torito _ Kerspuy.
What's El Torito?
Little Bull. Is
that your...
That's my fight, man.
Little Bull. Yeah. Who's that fight that you keep reminding me of? Anyway, he's a fight that you keep reminding me of. I can't remember who it is. But man, you just got this cool demeanor about you, this relaxed, calculated. It's awesome to see different personalities of different MMA fighters. Anyway, thanks for coming on.
Sure, guys. Thanks so much for having me, man.